So I just wanted to keep talking about codependency because I think there's a lot of confusion too with emotions and codependency. So if you're going to enter into transition and you know that you're a codependent in terms of the fact that you repress emotions, which a lot of us do, it is something that's not healthy for us. It really isn't. Or we repress our emotions because we don't know how to express them. I know men have a lot of problems with this too. They only think that aggression is the only way to really show, oh, I'm macho because I'm angry, and that can really cause a lot of violence, and it catches everyone out. So we just need to learn how do I go, a lot of repressed emotions cause a lot of work, additions to work, additions to religion, it happens. So we'll either go down these paths if we don't deal with it. And, it's really good to learn, well, how do I learn to channel that? And we'll start talking about it. And I think it comes back to going back in time. And this is where, if you are suffering from depression, this is where you would actually go into what you believe you went through and start the grief process and start saying, well, what happened in my younger years and what really set me off, what really happened, and what was I watching and what was I putting up with. And because we're just watching it as we grow up, and then we start reacting. And I know that was my issue too, because all I do is watch all of this where everybody thinks it's normal and there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of hate. So it's one of those things where we have to always constantly work on it, especially if you're not in the best circumstances, which does happen a lot. There are a lot of people that suffer behind closed doors. I think a lot of people get kind of ignorant because me living in Australia, we all think we have the perfect life, and I think perfectionism is another part of it, part of limitations, because when perfection itself is good because it acts as a motivation, but it can actually stop you from doing a lot of things because you don't think you're perfect. And I think perfectionism is on the way out as well, but let's just stick to codependency at this time. So repressed emotions are huge with alongside codependency. So it's learning how to really capture those. I think is the hardest work that you'll do in transition itself. But transition will want you to deal with it. I think that's the most important thing. If you enter into this, you will have to face them, and it's not a bad thing either, because I know that a lot of anger is looked at as wrong, which I don't believe it is. I think it's neutral. I think that a lot of people think it's so wrong, so then they try and deny it. And a lot of women can use their anger to, tap into their creativity. It's not always that bad. So it's just learning how to actually manage them and manage what they're actually doing for you. So in codependency, that is another big thing as well, is repressed emotions, which I know I certainly struggled with. So it's just learning to really work on it, channeling it. I think there's a lot of great sports that you can take up and so on and so forth. But I just want to introduce repressed emotions because it is a really big topic of discussion.